Welcome to Allies or Enemies. I'm Jess.
And I am Sean, and today we are talking about postcards, and this is a paid Kickstarter preview, so we're not going to give any opinions here. We're just going to talk about the nuts and bolts of the game, and this is a pre-production copy, so some things could change.
Postcards is a 1 to 4 player game designed by Dubus and Kayne with art by Crocotame. And in Postcards, you are cycling around France, collecting postcards and sending them back to your friends and family. But let's take a look at how it plays.
You start the game with an itinerary card, 5 travel cards, 1 postcard, a player board filled with camps, and a cyclist ready to explore the French countryside. On your turn, you will play 3 cards. These cards allow you to take an action based on the type of card you play. Movement allows you to move your bicycle to an adjacent region. Postcards let you take one of the available postcards from the row, and camps allow you to place a camp on a free space in the region that you're in. If this corresponds to a symbol on one of your postcards, it also provides you with a bonus, and if you manage to fill an entire region, you also gain points for the number of camps in that region. Or, instead of taking an action, you can choose to use your card to stick a stamp to one of your postcards. If ever you have collected all of the stamps required for a postcard, you can send it, scoring its points and gaining a gift card which can provide endgame scoring or immediate bonuses. Once a player has completed their 4th postcard, the game is over and players gain a point for every postcard they own, sent or not. Points from their itinerary cards based on how many corresponding postcards they sent, points from their gift cards, and a bonus if they triggered the game end. And then the greatest traveler is named.
So let's start with replayability, and there are a few different things for replayability. First of all, your player boards are double-sided, and it's just a small change for what bonus you get when you remove a certain tent, but you can choose between an A and a B side.
Yeah, on the B side, it's just that you choose out of the 3 actions. So you can do the same action 3 times, whereas on the A side, you do one, then the other, then the other. So that's really the change there. But I think the main thing that is going to change from game to game is just going to be like what you focus on, how you play the game, because there are a few different paths that you can take. And even if you're focusing on postcards, you can go for big ones that you're scoring a lot of points on. You can look at that goal card that you get at the start and really try and gun towards those. Or you can just do a lot of easy little ones and push the game a lot faster, because after 4 postcards, the game's over.
Yeah, or you could be focusing a lot on getting your tents out, because your tents get you all kinds of bonus actions. You also get points out if you manage to put out like all of your tents, or if you put all the tents in one region, you can collect some points off of that, and those can really add up too.
Yeah, and there's also the extra scoring card. So every time you fulfill a postcard, you get this little scoring card, and those cards are quite a bit different. Some of them have immediate effects, some of them have end game effects, but especially the ones with end game effects give you an extra little goal. So that can be to put your tents on this specific kind of icon, or just to collect up a collection of that kind of card as well. So those can focus you a bit as well.
Yeah, and the game ends when somebody's collected 4 postcards, and that end can come quite quickly. That we have had wins in like every time we've played in slightly different ways.
Yeah, and we've had games that have only gone like 25-ish minutes. And we've had games that have gone like 30, 40 minutes. It's never going to be a long game. This is quite a quick game. This is meant to be kind of a gateway game for a gateway audience. We'll talk about that later on. But it is quite quick, but you can get to that end in slightly different ways.
Yeah, and the speed will depend on the number of players. So it does play for 1 to 4 players. At 2 players, it's going to be very open. You're going to have a lot of spaces that you can get those tent bonuses. You're going to be more likely to be able to complete one region if that's something you're trying to do. Whereas at more players, you will get in each other's way a little bit by putting tents down maybe where somebody else wants to. It doesn't have direct interaction though, so you can't be mean to the other players. You might just block them a little bit, but it's not like Ticket to Ride where you're like getting specifically in the way of their goal.
Yeah, you can indirectly take that bonus that they wanted to take, or take that postcard that they wanted, but it's unlikely that you're gonna kind of hate draft those, because using a card action to take a postcard, you're probably gonna want to take a postcard that you're gonna use. It's not gonna set other people back, I think, enough that you're gonna waste that action on that. But also, the cards are multi-use, so you can either use them for the action, or you can use them to put a stamp on any one of your postcards that you currently have. So generally, you can use most cards on your turn. I don't think we've had an instance. You have an option to use 2 cards to be any other color. And I don't think we've had to use that action yet.
Yeah, and so if I saw that Sean really needed a red stamp, I might be able to take like the red card from the row, for example, but you can also always draw off the top. So I'm really not getting in your way too much.
But at 3 or 4 players, like we said, a big thing that is going to change is being able to take more things in those regions. The other thing a little bit is just going to be game time, but this is a very, very snappy game. Like turns are very, very fast in this game. So I don't think you're ever going to have a game that goes more than, even if you had 4 people playing this quite slowly, I think an hour is going to be the absolute outside of how long this game's going to take.
There is also a solo mode, and the bot uses the travel cards that are in the row on the board, and that dictates its actions, and it follows a priority order. So you will have to control the bot, but you are trying to beat it. And so it's not best score, it's trying to beat the score of the bot, and there are 3 different difficulties. And so the easy one is only using 3 of those cards, whereas the harder one uses 5 of those cards, so is doing more.
Moving on to components, and again, these could change because this is a pre-production, pre-Kickstarter copy of the game. But the one thing that you're going to notice right away is the postcards, and this is called postcards. Those are meant to be kind of the star of the show. And so there are a whole bunch of these. They are postcard size postcards. They all have individual art. They all have pictures of a place, or sometimes it's like a thing that France is known for. So often they are a city or a specific kind of building or like icon of the country.
You'll also have cardboard chits for the tents you're putting out, and you'll have all kinds of different cards because there's the itinerary cards. You only get 1 of those each game, but there are also the travel cards and the souvenir cards too.
Yeah, and those are all quite different. They're all quite easy to see, and the icons on those are all quite clear. There's also the large board of France, and it's got the 13 different regions of France with the little icons on the board, and you've got your bikers, and there are 4 different cyclists that go with the 4 different colors, and they are all quite a bit different as well.
And your cyclist is this little standee. And across the board, the art style is what you see on the cover of the box. And it all looks really lovely. The colors are bright and vibrant. And like you said, the symbols are easy to tell apart.
Yeah, and those postcards, that's what's going to bring people, like that's the thing that the game is selling to, right? Is those postcards. It's called Postcards. It's all about those postcards. So like we said at the top, we aren't going to give any opinion here, but we are still going to talk a little bit about who the audience might be for this game. And this is very much kind of a gateway game. This is a quick gateway game. This is the sort of thing that you can 100%, like this is going to be geared towards newer gamers and like families of gamers. It's a pretty game. It's quite easy to pick up. So that is going to be kind of the audience, I think, that is going to gravitate to this.
Yeah, this is the sort of game and the sort of style that you can definitely be playing with friends or family with a couple of drinks or some snacks that you're chit-chatting as you play.
It also might bring in audiences from, it's a game specifically about France, about the regions of France, and all of those regions are in French as well, and it's got a lot of that kind of authentic French. It's from a French company, and it's about France and has that French personality. So if that is of interest as well, that may also be something that brings in people. And that is it. And like we said off the top, this is a Kickstarter preview. So if you are interested in postcards, you can find a link to that Kickstarter in the description. Go check that out. Check out the page. Check out all the stuff, all of the art that they've got for it. The art is quite pretty. And so check out that stuff. See if this is a fit for you.
Thank you so much for watching. Please let us know in the comments some of your favorite travel themed games. And as usual, please like, subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you next time for another game.